Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. This is a shot of whiskey, and I'm going to try to get this video made. I swear I will make this video. I'm just not going to be able to use the same app that I downloaded from Microsoft Store. It was one of those screen recording programs, and it did its job. It did its job, but for whatever reason, the files will not be put into my video making software. So I don't know if it's a case of the app, the software, my laptop, or me. It could be a personal ineptitude. I don't know. But I'm hoping that this will change here pretty soon. I'm supposed to be getting a new computer here within the next couple of days through work. In fact, I was hoping to get an email about it today, but I haven't got it yet. So anyways, moving on to the topic at hand, let's focus on a wonderful young man by the name of...
It doesn't matter what your name is!
You know, Dwayne has a good point there. It really doesn't matter what this guy's name is. In fact, it matters so little, I'm not even going to provide a link to his channel. What I will do instead is I'll provide a link to the channel where I originally saw this Joker being roasted. Now, the roaster is a young man by the name of Igor MGTOW and video games. Pretty sharp little kid. But hey, Igor, if by any chance you are watching this video, I would like to recommend that you invest in getting a better microphone, because it is kind of hard to understand what you're saying. Before anybody says that I'm a hypocrite, no, I am not. This is personal advice for myself as well. I've already got my eye on something, and I am planning on getting it here in the near future. I just haven't done it yet. So, Igor, little helpful advice from one of your MGTOW brothers. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and move on to the video. Let's go ahead and find this chicken that we're going to roast, shall we?
A fear-based reality.
This little boy is going to lecture us on reality. Oh, God.
Look at feminists.
No, thank you. I'd like to try and preserve what optical capabilities I still have left.
Look at any group that just hates all.
Now it sounds like he may be talking about Antifa.
You know what I mean? They label all men as evil, bad, whatever.
You know, it's pretty bad when someone says something that makes me want to defend feminism. While not all feminists hate men, most of what they all advocate for is based off of some form of hatred, jealousy, or ignorance. Now that that's out of the way, I'm gonna go wash my mouth out with soap.
They're meninists.
Has nobody told this soy boy that meninism is a joke? Well, I'm guessing not, but let's take this time to give everyone my first serious critique. The closest thing to meninists that legit exist would be MRAs. They're the ones who are actively looking to make changes. That's not what MGTOW is about. I've said it before, it's possible for individuals to be both, but they are not the same thing.
They believe all women are one way, bad, evil, whatnot.
Only the MGTOW who are either new to the red pill or the ones who can't let go of their anger think this way. Most of us who have moved on beyond these points have come to realize that the enemy isn't women, but the legal system. I'll get into that a little bit later.
And they're scared. They're scared that a woman's gonna hurt them.
To an extent, yeah, but so what? How's that any different than women who are scared of men?
They have no inner confidence.
Actually, we do. The inner confidence is in that we can do well alone, without female validation. In case he, or anyone watching this video hasn't seen it yet, the commonly used MGTOW logo is a traffic sign that indicates a path away from the main road. That's MGTOW. We aren't restricting ourselves to what society deems essential for males. If anything, the ones who believe that they must get married in order to find happiness are the ones who lack confidence.
That they will be able to select the right woman.
Yeah, that sounds more like something that a simp would think.
That they can trust.
Trust is earned.
That isn't gonna label them a rapist.
Stop right there. Any woman can label a man a rapist. Co-workers can do that to each other. Hell, a former coworker of mine tried to do that about 3 years ago to someone else. Thank God he had physical proof that she was the one making all the moves, or he would have been fired, at least. You don't even have to interact with women in order for them to be able to ruin your life over a lie. Just look at that high schooler from Pennsylvania who was expelled because some girls claimed he assaulted them. The school only listened to the girls and booted him, then refused to do anything about their mistake when some of the girls admitted to lying and that their motivation was that they simply didn't like the kid, whose only crime was trying to focus on his grades and going on to college. You're a disgrace to the male sex.
Okay, and by doing this, they're cutting out a huge part of their potential happiness.
And yet they are gaining another source of potential happiness. But you wouldn't understand that since you seem to be a vagina worshiper.
We must protect the queen.
What's wrong with Knuckles? Oh my god.
The queen knows the way.
Oh no! They're deciding to never have a family.
Thank you for proving yet again that you have no idea what you're talking about. Marriage is not a requirement for raising a family. Just ask the gay community. There's adoption and surrogacy. Besides, even if what I just said were wrong, most MGTOW started off as either family men or those pursuing to make a family. They went through divorce courts and family courts. They have tales of pain and anguish that have validated their MGTOW decisions, myself included, and only a fool would dismiss their tales without a thought.
Women have motherly roles when men have fatherly roles when you have children.
You do realize that some women don't want to have kids, right? You do realize that one can have these roles without having children, right? I'm guessing that if he were to watch my video, he'd want an example, so here we go. Along with being a single father, I'm also an uncle, one who sometimes watches my nieces and or nephews. When they are hungry, I feed them. When they break the rules, I discipline them, which is never anything more than a brief lecture. When we're out in public, I watch out for potential dangers. These are parental roles, yet I am not their parent.
And nature encourages us to have children.
So, you know what else nature compels us to do? Take things that we want. Beat people up because they made us mad. Use up resources and not give a shit about the consequences. Yet, thanks to our ability to use facts, logic, and reasoning, most of us don't steal from other people or businesses. Most of us don't go around beating up those we disagree with or attack random strangers because we don't like how they look. Nearly all of us are aware of the environment, how we're affecting it, and how we can minimize the harm while repairing the damages of the past. Oh, and another thing that nature compels us to do: survive. When we see a potential danger, our natural instinct is to avoid said danger or to prepare for it. Marriage is not a natural instinct because it's not natural. Oh, and while we're on the topic of nature compelling us to procreate, does this mean that you believe homosexuality to be a natural? How does your myopic worldview explain that one?
Our testosterone, you know what I mean? Our hormones drive us to reproduce.
If we simply let our hormones do the talking, and everyone abandoned facts, logic, and reasoning, then every single high school and hell, maybe even middle school would be packed full of kids humping other kids, or maybe even teachers, which would produce countless pregnant young girls. Heck, rape might even be legal if we were to simply abandon reason and go simply off of instinct. Is that what you want? Well, thank God it's not what I want, nor is it what reality wants.
And you're basically chopping your dick off by being a little MGTOW pussy.
How? Because we're not getting married? Have you ever heard the expression, his balls are in her purse? That saying implies that a man's free will, not just his genitals, are in her control. He can't have sex with whomever he wants, only her. And that's only when she is in the mood. And it's not just about sex either. Imagine, if you will, you wanted to get a Harley really bad, and you saved up the money to get one. Now, if you were married, there's a good chance that your wife would oppose the idea. It's too dangerous. You could have used that money for me. Why didn't you ask me about it first? Or some other nagging point. If you're a bachelor, a MGTOW, you don't have to worry about that. Another saying is the ball and chain, implying that being married to a woman is a form of imprisonment. If you're a bachelor, you can make whoppy with as many chicks as you can because you're a free man. And believe it or not, cuck boy, some MGTOW do exactly that. Being MGTOW isn't about avoiding having sex for the rest of our lives. It's about being a free person who can do what he wants and preserving our manhood by denying a woman from claiming it for herself.
And with this said,
notice that? I didn't do it, he did. I'd like to know what idiotic things he originally said before replacing them with the idiotic things he provided. Like this.
do not be a MGTOWer, a MGTOWer, or whatever the fuck it's called.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
We're called MGTOW, you simpleton. Do you not know that MGTOW is an acronym? Do you not know that it stands for men going their own way? I could understand if you used MGYOW or MGMAO, but MGTOWer is just dumb, like saying meninist unironically.
You need to go out,
Why?
talk to many women,
Why?
find a girl that you think has some values that align with your own,
Why?
that is a good, moral woman.
Again, most of us have done just that, and that's why we went MGTOW. We learned. I thought that about the woman I had a kid with. My paternal grandfather thought that about the woman he was married to for over 60 years before she divorced him. Johnny Depp probably thought that about Amber Heard. That Cambridge student probably thought that about the Oxford student. Chris Atkins probably thought that about Lori Longquist. Even if we do find someone who matches the description that you're ignorantly assuming will lead to our happiness, there is nothing guaranteeing that something won't change in the future. And yes, the same is true regarding good moral men.
And from that point, go on some dates with her, hang out with her, cuddle with her, have a good time with her.
Why?
Seriously, give us a real reason. Having hormonal urges is the only reason you have given us for why we should go back to the pussy plantation. No thanks, that's not enough.
And if you like her, if you think she is the right woman for you,
As I just hinted at earlier, people change over time.
and you have confidence in yourself and your own personal selection of this woman,
We have the confidence in ourselves that we only need ourselves in order to be happy.
then have sex with her.
I could have sex with a woman without even knowing her last name. Heck, even her first name. You're saying absolutely nothing of value, dude.
Take it a step further. Maybe have a family with her down the line.
You do it! I don't see a ring on your finger. What's your excuse?
If you still believe that.
We don't believe that. That's why we're MGTOW. I'm willing to bet that this inexperienced boy has never even looked into MGTOW, or at least the only thing he's seen is a Reddit page. If he were to actually look around, he'd be able to find plenty of MGTOW who would consider marriage if the laws changed. Not all of us, of course. There is no benefit for the man to get married. None. Prove us wrong, little boy. Go for it.
Don't live in fear.
Don't live in the blue pill delusion, you callow sheep.
Don't fucking give up on women.
Why not? What do they have to offer us that we can't get from being bachelors? Let's use a metaphor. Marriage is like a game of Russian roulette. Pick up a 6-shooter, put one bullet into the cylinder, and spin that sucker like you're trying to win $1 from Drew Carey. Are you going to plant that sucker against your temple? Are you going to pull that trigger? That's marriage. But instead of having your brains possibly splattering onto the wall, you're going to have your finances and belongings taken from you and given to the bitch that you once put on a pedestal. You'll hardly ever see your children, and you may or may not have to spend time in jail for a crime she lied about, or because the courts wanted you to pay more in child support than you make. Oh, and instead of putting one bullet in, try it with 4. Are you going to try to convince me that you're brave enough to play the game? Well, I'm smart enough to step away from the table. I'd rather play solitaire for the rest of my life than play a rigged Russian roulette because you want me to be guided by my urge to put my cock in someone else's orifice.
And instead watch porn, you know,
Hey, lay off my porn.
watch other men do what you wish you could do? I don't think so.
You're incapable of thinking. I'm also guessing that you haven't watched a lot of porn, if any at all. Wait a sec. Are you a tradcon by chance? Is that the deal here? Is your guide to flesh-based happiness found in passages from the book of Proverbs? You do know that there's more types of porn than just one man, one woman, right? Have you never heard of lesbian porn or softcore?
As I said in that last video,
Yeah, I'm gonna skip this crap since it means nothing, and I highly doubt the video he's mentioning has anything of value to add.
it's completely pathetic.
What's pathetic? Being MGTOW, watching porn, your video content. You know, it'd be nice if you'd be a little bit more specific with your talking points, dude.
Absolutely just, you're watching another man ram a woman on a computer screen.
Oh, so you're still going on about the porn thing. Well, okay, let's let him run the course.
A woman that you're scared of. Not just a woman that you want in real life and can't get. A woman that you live in fear of.
Porn stars are nothing more than a source of entertainment. They are no different than actors in a TV show or movie. They are no different than digital imagery that you manipulate with a controller as you explore a cave, score a touchdown, or steal a car. It satisfies an instinct that we have. Besides, you do realize that some married couples watch porn together, right? It can set a tone for some that music and food can't. Heck, the woman I almost married told me that she would break up with me if I were to stop watching porn and get rid of the collection I had. And some porn stars will fuck their fans, granted usually under specific situations. Again, if you weren't so naive, you might have a better idea as to what you're talking about.
You are a fucking loser.
Speak up when you're attempting to insult your betters, Zinc Sponge.
If you hold MGTOW beliefs.
You don't even know what MGTOW believe, and it's obvious. You want to know who the real losers are? Those that believe their way is the only way, especially when they refuse to learn. Seriously, get married and learn the hard way, since that's probably going to be the only way you're ever going to figure out how the world really works. Then, come back and attempt to tell me that I'm wrong for dodging a bullet. Are you trying to be intimidating with these last few seconds? Well, if so, it's not working. I mean, you look like you're trying to say, "Get with a woman now, or I'll kick your ass." It's not working, dude. I have a theory. Maybe he's against MGTOW because his sister was pumped and dumped by a MGTOW, and he's indirectly attempting to defend her non-existent honor. Well, whatever his issue is, he is guilty of the same thing that most anti-MGTOW folks are. Being unable to come up with a good enough reason for us to change our minds. Especially since they don't seem to know or understand us worth a damn. Bottom line, MGTOW is about individualism. Yes, there are some MGTOW who avoid women as much as possible, and I know this guy seems to think it's because we're all scared little babies, but it has to do with logic and practicality. Others, they'll interact with women sometimes, they just won't date them. I personally fall under that category. And then there's some who will pump and dump as much as possible like their hardcore Tom Likas listeners. It really depends. And then there's a lot that are somewhere in between. The point is, it's about individualism. We're not a cult with a dead set of principles, okay? It's just a basic philosophy of being a bachelor. And that being said, we have different opinions on other people who want to get married. Realistically speaking, I don't care if you, Mr. doofus high schooler with a crappy looking hat, I don't care if you get married someday. If you do, I legitimately wish you the best of luck. I actually don't want you to be one of these divorce statistics, but it might be the only way that you will learn and understand why a lot of MGTOW have become MGTOW. It's because of the divorce system. It's because of the family courts. Not just that they exist, but how lopsided they are in favor of the woman and against the man. I really hope that you don't get first-hand experience with it. But if it's the only way you're going to learn, it's the only way you're going to learn. Well, with that being said, it's kind of a little bit of a long rant. And I'm sorry that this video took so damn long for me to do. This month has not been a very kind one for me. But I'm hoping that once the summertime comes along, I'll be pumping out videos more regularly. And I actually have a couple of interesting updates for you guys. Until then, peace out, everybody.